guys, today is Friday. I'm 99.9% sure it's Friday. Yeah, I think so. And on my way to work, we had the end of today's shift will make 48 hours. Well, except for 46 for me because I had to do 2 hours off on Monday. And then 8 hours tomorrow, so that'll give me 54 hours for the week. Which, I've been more tired. So, not so bad, I suppose. We'll see how I feel at the end of today. But, good for the paycheck. So, that's hopefully going to help me get back on track to where I need to be. Hello, I said save. I'm trying to set my speedometer. The town I'm going through is notorious for pulling you over if you're going 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, so gotta be careful. But, so yeah, two things. First of all, it's 3 degrees. And, so pardon the sound of my heater, but it is 3 degrees. But you know, oddly enough, 3 degrees is really not so bad. Like I have the heater on in my car, but I don't have my gloves on. Last night, coming home, it was -9 degrees. And with the heat on full blast, I still had to have my gloves on because my hands were just frozen. So, you know, it's interesting that with the sunshine out and no wind, 3 degrees isn't so bad, I guess, if you're used to the cold. So, but the other thing that triggered me to want to make a video was thinking about, so yeah, little family history. I don't know a whole lot about my biological family, and the little bit that I have learned, I forget most of the time, because I probably have it written down somewhere. I don't know where, but if I remember correctly, there's some BPD or borderline personality disorder in the family. And years ago, when I was talking to my sister, my half-sister, she had mentioned that, you know, it kind of sounded like I had a lot of the symptoms of BPD. And I love human psychology anyway, and I've, you know, studied and researched all kinds of things from bipolar disorder to ADHD to, you know, Asperger's and autism and a little bit of Tourette's and narcolepsy and all kinds of stuff. And so I've been listening to videos about not bipolar, but borderline personality disorder. And I will admit that I do have a lot of the symptoms. But I think if I were to be diagnosed, I would probably fall on the quiet BPD because I am also a Gemini, and so were I possibly a Capricorn or a Sagittarius, for instance, I would probably be more of a, you know, what I guess would be considered a non-quiet BPD, which means that I have those extremes of mood, but most of the time I keep it bottled up inside because Geminis, we tend to present the face that we want to present and keep what's really going on very close to our heart and very under the surface. We don't allow people to know what's going on really. And it's also, you know, an overlapping trait between Gemini and BPD is that we have a hard time talking about our emotions and putting it into words, and sometimes we come across as overreactive or over-emotional, and then other times we come across as very cold and heartless. And so that's an interesting thing. Another kind of trait would be that we have so much going on in our heads constantly that ADHD is kind of either a comorbid thing, or which means multiple multiple issues in one head, or that we're so overthinking all the time that we're just mentally exhausted all the time, which is very, 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 very much me. And it's interesting listening to how some of the treatments and some of the things they suggest I have already started doing in the last couple of years, and that is understanding where my triggers are and what my triggers are, and eliminating things that I can eliminate to help control that overstimuli. So, for instance, I very rarely watch TV. I don't ever just sit down to watch TV. I only watch TV if my husband or son are watching TV, or if the TV is left on. Like this morning I was watching TV because it was left on overnight, and they were talking about the government shutdown, so I did want to hear about that. But, that is the only time I watch TV. I don't sit down and turn the TV on myself ever. I haven't listened to the radio in probably 6 months or more. I don't have any need for it. It's just too much stimulation, and it just adds to the chaos and overwhelm that I feel almost all of the time. And I go to work, and I manage that, and outside of that, I don't really go anywhere because it's just extra stimulation I don't need. So, once in a while I will go out and do things with people, but for the most part I stay home in a quieter, less stimulating environment. So, those are a couple of the ways I have, unsubscribed to many, many pages on Facebook. I deleted a bunch of people. I unfollowed the rest for the most part, other than a really small handful, like maybe 8 or 10 people, because it was just too much stimulation when I was going on Facebook. And even then, I don't really do a whole lot of Facebook. I scroll for a minute or two, literally, and then I'm good. Ooh, a nice close parking spot. We've been having parking issues at work. What else do I do? I mean, I don't text a lot of people. I don't do a lot of Snapchat. I just have found every way possible where I can delete and I guess shelter my brain from that overstimulation. And I still get overstimulated by my own thoughts and my own life. But I don't know, I guess I just wanted to, give a shout out to those of you that deal with something similar to what I deal with. And, there are lots of little ways that you can look at your life and figure out where you can eliminate stuff that helps you to not feel so overwhelmed all the time and really filter what's coming into your world. And that really makes a huge difference. It's I'm not well, I'm not wonderful, but I'm doing better than I was, and I'm not getting those complete overwhelms to the degree that I was getting where I just completely shut down, or maybe I've just stayed in a state of shutdown. I'm not particularly sure, but that's how I'm coping. That's how I'm managing. A lot of times addictions will come with BPD because of trying to cope, and that's something that I definitely have refused to let myself do. I have thought about, maybe I should do drugs. Maybe that would help me deal with this. And thankfully, due to my life and my circumstances that I've experienced, I was able to make a good decision that that's probably not the route to go. Alcohol is another one where, if I were to let myself, I would probably drink from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed. And that is not only to help me cope, but it's also genetic in my family. And I fight that every day, and I choose not to. So I cope in my own ways, my Mountain Dew, my smoking, my coffee, allowing myself the time to do things that I want to do, because that's what gives me comfort, and that's far more enjoyable to me than fighting an addiction like alcohol. So, there's also extremes of sleep, which is interesting to me because I used to sleep a lot, and I love sleeping. It's my way to shut down and stop all that chaos, even though some of it still goes on while I sleep. But I don't know if this is due to aging or what the deal is, but I haven't been able to sleep like I used to. If I take a nap, it used to be 2 to 3 to 4 hours, and now it's like 30 minutes to an hour, and I'm good. I'm sleeping like 7 hours at night, I think. Between 6 and 8 somewhere, but it's not usually 8. So on the weekends, occasionally I do sleep 10 hours, but I'm also working long shifts, and so, you know, there's a little bit of balance there, but I thought that was interesting because sleep has always been a huge topic for me. Eating disorders, or eating disturbances, or whatever the deal is. I've had a lot of, my adopted mom told me that, you know, till I was about 5 or 6, she had to hand feed me because I just didn't eat. You know, I eat to survive. I eat because I have to, because I know my body needs nourishment, and that's pretty much it. I do get periods of time where I'm hungry all the time, and sometimes on the weekends I've noticed I'll eat. Like I think it was Saturday, I ate at about 4 or 5 p.m. till about 2 or 3 a.m. I probably ate 4 or 5 times. So I had like 2 bowls of spaghetti, some mac and cheese, a grilled cheese sandwich, 2 slices of bread and butter. You know, I'll eat and eat and eat and eat, because I'm just hungry. But most of the time, especially I've noticed when I'm in work mode for the week, I eat because I have to keep my blood sugar up, and I have to keep a little bit of energy going. But other than that, food's just not my thing. So I'm on the end of more towards the bulimic or anorexic end, I suppose, because I go through phases where if I feel like if I eat, I'm going to throw up, so I don't eat, or I'll eat just something real simple like, you know, toast. And there was a period of time in my life, my senior year, where I probably technically, I don't know if you would even call it anorexia, but I dropped a lot of weight really quick. I wasn't eating for days at a time, and it got to a critical point where I passed out for a long period of time, and thankfully I had friends that scooped me up quite literally and put me in bed and gave me Ensure, a 6-pack of Ensure, and told me I couldn't get out of bed till they were gone. And so I spent about 48 hours in bed, and they did not let me up, except to go to the bathroom, until I had that 6-pack gone, and that was probably when I realized how critical it had gotten. And so, you know, I've passed out frequently throughout my childhood and early adulthood, and realized it was a blood sugar issue from not eating, so I do, you know, keep careful track of that, and I've talked about that before. I do watch that carefully because it's really easy for me to do. So there's just a lot of things that, and then maybe I'll do more videos about BPD, but this is kind of my initial talking about it. I'm not saying that I have it, I don't know. But yeah, I thought maybe I could have some helpful information, or just give you a little insight into me and some of the things that I deal with and struggle with. And I'm going to let this be it for today. I hope that everybody has a great Friday and a great weekend. Stay safe, stay warm. Oh, it's 8 degrees now. Woohoo! Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me some comments, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye!